Tonight, we are going to leave the noise of the present day behind and slip quietly into a time and place where the world moved much slower. There are no buzzing lights here, no humming electronics, and no demands on your attention. There is only the deep, profound silence of a winter that has settled over the land with the weight of a heavy wool blanket. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast snow-covered field. The air is so crisp, it feels like you are breathing in liquid glass, sharp and clean. But you are not staying out in the cold. You are turning away from the biting wind, moving toward a small, thatched structure that sits low against the horizon. This is a medieval cottage, a sanctuary built from timber and earth, designed not for luxury, but for the simple, essential purpose of keeping life warm. Tonight, we are going to explore the quiet, almost hypnotic routine of surviving a winter night in the Middle Ages. We will focus on the microscopic details, the scratch of straw, the smell of wood smoke, the heavy comfort of wool layers, details so ordinary to the people of the past that they become a kind of magic for us, a spell to ward off wakefulness. If you are struggling to sleep, or if your mind is racing with tomorrow's worries, let this story be your anchor. Let the cold stay outside, and let the warmth settle deep in your bones. You push against the heavy wooden door, feeling the resistance of the iron hinges that have stiffened in the frost. With a groan of timber that sounds like an old man settling into a chair, the door swings inward. Immediately, the world changes. You step from the vast, open chill of the night into a space that feels close, intimate, and thick with life. The air inside is not fresh, but it is comforting. It carries a heavy, complex perfume that tells the story of the house, the scent of ancient oak beams curing in the smoke of 1,000 fires, the earthy musk of the packed clay floor, the lanolin smell of raw sheep's wool, and the faint, sweet dustiness of dried hay. It is a dense atmosphere, one that wraps around you like a second skin. You turn back to the door, placing your shoulder against the wood to force it shut against the wind that tries to follow you in. You slide the heavy wooden bolt into place with a solid, satisfying thud. That sound is the definitive end of the day. With the latch secured, the outside world, the snow, the wolves, the biting wind, ceases to matter. You are inside. You are safe. The room is dim, lit only by the fading orange pulse of the hearth in the center of the wall. There are no lamps burning tallow tonight. That would be a waste. The fire is the only sun you need now. You stand there for a moment, just breathing, letting your eyes adjust to the gloom. The smoke hangs in the rafters above your head, a soft gray ceiling that drifts and curls in the slow currents of air. It stings your eyes just a fraction, a familiar sensation that signals you are home. In this era, a smokeless house is a cold house, and you would gladly trade clear air for the radiant heat that bleeds from the stones of the fireplace. You begin the slow, deliberate process of preparing for rest. There is no rushing here. To rush is to waste energy, and in the depth of winter, energy is as precious as grain. You move with a heavy, calm lethargy, your boots scuffing softly against the uneven earth floor. You make your way to the corner of the room, the designated sleeping nook. It is not a bedroom as we know it, but a raised platform of wood and packed earth, lifted just enough to keep you away from the coldest drafts that snake along the ground. Your bed is not a mattress of springs and foam, but a pile of straw and dried ferns packed into a rough linen sack. It looks uncomfortable to modern eyes, yet as you press your hand into it, you feel how it conforms to your weight. It rustles with a dry, whispering sound, like dry leaves skittering across a stone path. This sound is the lullaby of the peasant, a reminder of the fields and the harvest that allow you to be here tonight. You begin to arrange the bedding. This is a nightly ritual, almost a dance. You must fluff the straw, breaking up the hollows left by your body the night before, redistributing the stuffing to ensure the cold of the ground does not seep through into your hips and shoulders. You work the straw with your hands, kneading it like dough, feeling the dry stalks crunch and shift. Now you consider your clothing. In this time, you do not change into light pajamas. To remove your layers would be madness when the temperature inside will drop near freezing by dawn. Instead, you do the opposite. You check the fastenings of your tunic. You pull your thick woolen hose up tighter. You reach for an extra shawl, a heavy, scratchy piece of fabric that has been darned and patched so many times it is more map than blanket. You wrap it around your shoulders, feeling the immediate return of your own body heat. The wool is coarse against your neck, but that roughness is reassuring. It provides friction, and friction means warmth. You are building a cocoon, layer by layer, sealing yourself in against the night. There is a specific technique to this layering. You ensure there are no gaps at your waist, no openings at your cuffs. You are turning yourself into a self-contained vessel of heat. You sit down on the edge of the straw mattress. The wood of the platform frame creaks beneath you. You take a moment to rub your hands together, the dry skin rasping in the quiet room. Your fingers are stiff, retaining the memory of the cold water you hauled from the well earlier in the evening. You hold them out toward the dying embers of the fire. The heat is faint now, a dull infrared glow that barely reaches you. Yet the sight of the red coals is psychologically warming. It creates a focal point in the dark, a small red eye watching over the room. You watch a single flake of soot detach from the chimney breast and float downward, caught in an updraft, dancing a slow, silent waltz before disappearing into the ash. It is mesmerizing in its simplicity. This is the entertainment of the winter night, watching the fire breathe its last for the evening, watching the shadows lengthen and merge until the corners of the room disappear entirely. It is time to lie down. You swing your legs up onto the platform, the straw crunching loudly under your shifting weight. You do not lie alone. This is a world of shared sleep. The concept of a private room is foreign and impractical. Beside you, the forms of your family are already settling. You feel the warmth radiating from them, a living radiator that is more effective than any fire. A child nestles against your back, seeking the heat of your spine. You do not pull away, you lean into it. You pull the heavy top blanket over the group. It is a dense woven rug, heavy enough to weigh down your feet. This weight is a comfort. It feels protective, pressing you down into the straw, anchoring you to the earth. The air beneath the blanket begins to warm immediately, trapped by the heavy wool weave. You tuck your chin down, burying your nose in the fabric of your own tunic to recycle the warmth of your breath. As you settle, your ears become attuned to the symphony of the cottage. It is never truly silent. The house is a living thing, expanding and contracting with the temperature. You hear a timber beam high above you groan, a deep resonant sound of wood settling in the cold. You hear the wind outside, no longer a biting enemy, but a distant mournful song. It rushes around the eaves, searching for a way in, finding none and moving on. It rattles the wooden shutters over the window, tap, 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 a rhythmic percussion that tells you the barrier is holding. You are safe inside. The contrast between that hostile wind and your warm nest makes the comfort feel even sweeter. It is a stolen pleasure, a victory against the elements. Then there are the sounds of life. From the other side of the thin interior wall, or perhaps just across the room, you hear the heavy, rhythmic breathing of livestock. A cow shifts its weight, its hoof clacking softly against stone. A goat lets out a soft, sleepy bleat. These are not disturbances, they are reassurances. The animals are the engine of the farm, and their presence in the house adds a substantial, humid warmth to the air. You can smell them, a scent of hay and milk and manure, but it is not offensive. It is the smell of survival, of wealth, of life continuing through the dead of winter. The slow, deep breathing of a cow is one of the most soporific sounds in the world, a metronome of calm that slows your own heart rate. You match your breath to the rhythm of the room, in and out, in and out. Your mind begins to drift, untethering from the day's labor. You think about the wood you chopped, the water you carried, the grain you ground. Your muscles ache with a dull, throbbing sensation that feels almost good because it means the work is done. There is nothing left to do. You cannot work in the dark. The night has granted you permission to stop. In our modern world, we can push back the night with switches and screens, but here, the darkness is absolute and authoritative. It commands rest. You surrender to it. You feel the heaviness of your eyelids, a physical weight dragging them down. You let them close. The darkness behind your eyes is filled with the after-images of the fire, swirling orange shapes that slowly fade to velvet black. But sleep in the medieval winter is not always a single, unbroken block. You might wake in the deep middle of the night. This is the watch, the time between the first sleep and the second sleep. You stir, feeling a draft touch your ear. You open your eyes. The room is pitch black. The fire now just a pile of gray ash with perhaps a single pinprick of red deep within. The silence is deeper now, the wind having died down. You do not panic. You do not check a clock. You simply exist in the quiet. Perhaps you hear a neighbor in the next cottage cough, the sound traveling clearly through the frozen air and thin walls. It is a reminder that you are part of a community, a cluster of souls huddling together against the vastness of winter. You might whisper a few words to the person beside you, a sleepy exchange about the cold or the morning's chores, or you might just lie there in a state of peaceful semi-consciousness, letting your mind wander through prayers or memories. You realize you are thirsty. You slide an arm out from the warmth of the covers. The air hits your skin like ice water. It is shocking, immediate. You grope in the dark for the wooden noggin of water you left by the bedside. Your fingers brush the rough wood. You lift it to your lips. The water is so cold it makes your teeth ache, tasting of the stone well and the clay pitcher. It slides down your throat, a shocking ribbon of cold that serves to highlight how warm your body has become under the covers. You drink deeply, then place the cup back down. You pull your arm back into the nest, shivering once, violently, before the heat of the bedding swallows you up again. The shiver passes, leaving a tingling sensation of relaxation in its wake. You roll over onto your other side. The straw beneath you crunches and reforms, creating a new hollow for your hip. You pull the blanket up over your ear this time, leaving only your nose and mouth exposed. You are a creature of the cave now, hibernating. You think about the stories the elders tell, about how the bears sleep in the deep woods, slowing their hearts until they barely beat. You feel a kinship with them. You slow your own heart. You focus on your toes, which are finally, truly warm. You focus on the heavy wool scratching your ankle. You focus on the smell of the dried herbs, lavender and woodruff, that your mother tucked into the straw to keep the pests away. It is a faint, dusty floral scent, a memory of summer preserved in the dark. Your thoughts become less linear. You think of the snow piling up against the door, sealing you in. You imagine the white drifts climbing the walls, insulating the cottage in a blanket of ice. You are buried, hidden, secret. The world cannot find you here. The tax collector cannot find you. The lord of the manor cannot find you. You are king of this small, warm kingdom of straw and shadow. This feeling of enclosure, which might cause claustrophobia in the daylight, feels like a warm embrace in the dark. It is the feeling of being held. As you drift toward the second sleep, you become aware of the texture of the fabric against your cheek. It is a piece of linen, softened by years of washing, worn thin in places. It smells of lye soap and wood smoke. You rub your cheek against it, a small tactile comfort. You feel the slow rise and fall of the chest of the person sleeping next to you. It is a rocking motion, like a boat on a calm sea. You are drifting on that sea. The worries of the harvest, the fear of sickness, the scarcity of food, they all recede. They belong to the daylight. Here, in the dark, there is only warmth and breath. A mouse skitters across the floorboards overhead, in the loft. It is a tiny scratching sound. Scritch, scratch, scritch. In a modern home, this might be annoying. Here, it is just another heartbeat of the house. The mouse, too, is seeking warmth. It is part of the household, a tiny guest in the rafters. You listen to its progress across the wood until it stops, having found its own corner of comfort. Silence returns, heavy and sweet. You feel a profound sense of gratitude. It is not for gold or silk or feasts. It is for this specific patch of dry straw. It is for the heavy wool that keeps the ice from your skin. It is for the body heat of your kin. It is a small, quiet gratitude that fills your chest with a golden light, similar to the embers in the hearth. You realize that you have enough. For this moment, for this night, you have enough. This realization is the key to the deepest sleep. You let go of the need for more. You let go of the need for tomorrow to be different. You accept the cold world as it is, and you accept your warm place within it. The darkness seems to pulse gently behind your eyelids. You are sinking now, deeper than before. The sounds of the room, the breathing, the creaking, the wind are merging into a single continuous hum. It is a white noise made of organic life. It wraps around your mind, muffling your thoughts. You are no longer separate from the cottage. You are part of the wood and the mud and the straw. You are as still as the stones in the wall. You are as deep as the roots of the trees outside. In this state, time dissolves. There is no hour, no minute. There is only the long, stretching now of the winter night. You are suspended in a void of comfort. If you were to dream now, you would dream of simple things, of the sun hitting the side of the barn, of the taste of fresh butter, of the color of spring grass. But for now, there are no dreams, only the velvety nothingness of true rest. The cold waits outside, patient and eternal, but it cannot touch you. You have built a fortress of wool and hay. You have conquered the night by simply closing your eyes and refusing to participate in it. Sleep comes like a slow tide, washing over your feet, your legs, your hands, your mind. It is heavy and dark and wonderful. You let it take you. You are warm. You are safe. You are asleep. The stone cottage stands guard in the snow, a tiny heart of heat in a frozen world, holding you gently until the gray light of morning returns. Good night.